Yo, what's up? It's the Insane Game Freak here, bringing you that Switch talk. Let's go. Time to that Switch talk. Let's go. Oh, that Switch talk. Let's go. Oh. Some of you might have seen that I was trying to post live reactions. Nintendo, let me ask you a question. Why give us the whole we're not gonna pull down your Twitch stuff or copyright it if you stream the live reactions on Twitch, and then I go to YouTube, and then I got copyright claimed by Nintendo of Japan. Do you think that only doing one is gonna negate the other? Most people live stream their reactions and then just upload the video. Now that one, I think what I'm gonna do is that I was gonna split it up into separate videos, but fuck it. I think if I'm gonna get copyright claimed on it regardless, I think I'm just gonna upload the whole stream on the YouTube. I'll do that later, probably within the next day or two. But for right now, I want to talk about the individual games. And I'm going to do this by the games I care about. There are certain games on here that the Switch was revealed, and I'll talk about, and I'm about to do a podcast with Terminator Juice, the Juice is Loose crew, later on the night, so there's no reason for me to go into my thoughts. I'm just going to have to repeat myself twice. So I'll probably do that video maybe tomorrow. Now, there are a few games I want to talk about, and I wanted to do Fire Emblem, and then we got announced today that Fire Emblem's getting its own separate direct, which will probably be about the mobile game and the Warriors game. So there's no real reason for me to do it. I'm going to still do a video, but I'm not going to do it right now. There'll be a lot of Fire Emblem stuff. That's what I'm pretty much warning you about in advance. Anyways, this video is about ARMS. Not the first 2 minutes, though, because I spent the first 2 minutes talking about other shit. Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about ARMS. So ARMS was like the second game announced for the Switch in this presentation. You had the first one, which is your 1-2 Switch game, and this game. Now, it's kind of been stated that Nintendo is still going to have a Wii-like title or IP in the mix of their games. 1-2 Switch was definitely catering to that crowd, but ARMS is a weird beast entirely because it's a game that, even though it looks like it's the same, it's a tech demo for motion controls, it actually looks like a lot of effort was put into it, and it looks like it was trying to, there's actually a decent amount of depth there. And to be honest with you, I wasn't the only one, but people are kind of mixed with the game, but a lot of people, surprisingly more people than I thought, are pretty positive on the game. You know what's going to hurt this game, though, and it's a sad truth of today's gamers. The thing that's going to hurt this game is the motion controls. The fact, if that's the only way you can play this game, it's going to automatically hurt this game, which sucks. Because with Splatoon, it was like a minor inconvenience for some gamers, and you could turn it off somewhat in the options menu, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But the motion controls are going to seriously hurt this game, and it sucks because it looks like a good fighter. They've already confirmed various multiplayer options, almost every option you could have: local, handheld, split screen, and online. So, and that comes out in fucking April. They say spring, so my assumption is either April. It's probably going to be April. And that game is going to live or die depending on two things: on how good the online is and whether or not the casual base grabs on. Because the hardcore gamer is just not going to do it. They're not going to, even if they like the game, they're not going to do it for a while. And it sucks because the ARMS looks really cool. You got, I'm trying to think of what his name is. His name's Springman, and then the girl's name Ribbon Girl. And you got all these different types of characters. Ironically enough, it reminds me of Tanks. The Tank game that came out recently in Japan is like an eShop title that we're supposedly getting here in the States, but we've heard nothing about. It's that same kooky, weird-ass characters doing kind of a basic... And it looks like a cool fighter. I mean, Nintendo doesn't have a fighter. Not a traditional fighter. And granted, I don't think they'll ever have a traditional fighter. But this is a cool-looking fighting game, but it's a game that's hinging on motion controls. And motion controls, ironically enough, that has become somewhat industry standard, at least aspects of motion controls, like the fucking gyro. Unfortunately, this is still not going to become mainstream. Even if it's not anything overly intensive. And then the funny thing is, boxing, I think, was one of the most popular sports on Wii Sports purely because of it. And they've simplified it. Instead of you doing this ridiculous shit where you have to just fucking duck and weave, or where you could just kind of throw your arm out and they would do a punch or a kick, which defeat the purpose of it being boxing. They kind of tried to simplify it as much as they can. And you're still using buttons on the control anyway, because the dash, you hit the LR, the L trigger, and then to jump, you hit the right trigger. You hold it like this. You do this to punch. Do this to block. You do this. No, what was it? You do this. Yeah. You do this to do curve punches. And it looks like there's a decent amount of depth. Also, the fact that the fights are pretty short. You can usually, most of those matches aren't lasting more than like a minute or two, if that. It feels like a game that had a lot of love and care into it, and honestly has a lot of fucking potential. And the game is going to suffer because of motion controls. Not because the motion controls are bad, but just because of motion controls. If motion controls are not the only way to play, it has a chance. And it makes me mad I have to say that a game is going to suffer purely for that reason. But it's almost the same. It was the same argument with a lot of the Wii games. And most of the opinions of this I've heard from fans and people who watched it is they're pretty mixed on it. Most people say it looks fun, but even the people who say it looks fun are like, those motion controls are going to be a pain. And that's what's going to stop it. It's going to have to get mainstream with the casual audience first, and maybe later on with the hardcore audience. I really hope they add in traditional controls. Not even for me, because it's like I have no problem playing motion controls, but I like to see games do well. And I know for a fact that a lot of games, unless it's picked up by the casual gamer, a lot of gamers are going to kind of like try the game, say it's good, and then like no one's going to fucking buy it, and it's going to piss me off. And I would like this game to do well, personally. I think it's a game that deserves to do well and can do well. So it's a shame to see it in this position, because it shouldn't be in this position, but that's what it's going to be. That's how it's going to suffer, because fuck me, that's why. It's a cool looking game though. That's what kills me. It's a cool looking game. I like the way it looks. It looks like it runs smooth. I didn't see really any frame drop. The game looks beautiful. I like the diversity in the character designs. It's a cool ass game. Even if it is a tech demo kind of game, it's probably one of the better ones we've had. And ones that actually, and put it this way, ARMS actually has true mainstream appeal as an everybody game. It's the same thing Splatoon did. It's a game that hits both the hardcore and the casual market. Actually, it reminds me a lot of Splatoon in terms of the way its appeal works. The difference is that Splatoon wasn't hinging on motion controls. I mean, that was a hurdle, but it wasn't a big enough hurdle, and most gamers told you it was the better way to play. But that's just doing this, tilting your controller left and right while you're playing, and everything else was still button oriented. Here, it's literally, you gotta do this. You got to. And it sucks. It sucks. I want this game to do well, and I'm pretty paranoid about it because I think it won't. I don't think it will if it doesn't get caught up by the mainstream. If the mainstream doesn't dig it, it's going to suffer. Because even though there's a portion of the hardcore fan base that'll buy it, that game is going to hinge on its motion controls, and it makes me mad. I had a lot of games. That was like one of the biggest complaints about the stream, which I'll get into later. That, oh, look at all that focus you do on motion controls. No one wants to play with motion controls. Yeah, there is. There are games that still use motion controls. Not the case, but I think it's so. Just final thoughts. I think it looks cool. I think it has a lot of potential, and I look forward to it. And it's probably going to be a game I buy when it first comes out. And I just hope that it does well, because we kind of need a new IP to do well. Splatoon's literally been like the only one in the last few years, and we've had other new IPs that were good and just didn't do well. That's why we'll never get that Codename Steam 2 game, right? That's such a good game too. Fuck. That's such a good game. Damn it. Damn it. Life's a gameplay to win. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys later for my next video. Oh, by the way, Twitch, if you want to see the stream before I upload it, because it's already on Twitch. So if you want to see my live reaction to the whole thing on Twitch, you can do that now, or you can wait until I upload it on here.